Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chippa in the third person. It's been a little while. I thought this would be a cool experiment for an episode of this, for taking you on a little adventure. So, here we go. So how do I start this? Well, last year-ish, I've been going to a lot of concerts, and one of which was a great show. It was Frank Turner and the Interrupters, and that was the night before my sister-in-law passed away, and that was a really, really big high note. It was kind of getting out, kind of shaking off all the BS of the week and the day, and kind of just getting out, be myself. And then the next day we had a giant family tragedy. Since then, I've gone to a couple concerts with my wife. We saw Pink, unbelievable. Kind of different thing though. That's a big stadium kind of show. That Frank Turner show, the Interrupter show, small venue kind of show. The shows you'd go to, where I went to when I was a teenager, in the late 90s, early 2000s, you weren't supposed to go to because everybody was moshing and doing drugs, and all this stuff. And now here I am at 39, and the bands and stuff that were new at that time, even though I grew up listening to, 60s, 70s, 80s music because of my dad, but those bands that I was listening to when I was a teenager, my father was experiencing, the 20, 30, 40th anniversary of the releases of their albums, and then things like the Beatles having a brand new song, their final brand new song come out, which if you haven't heard it, it's wonderful. And the video and the way that Peter Jackson got involved to get them to pull the audio out was just amazing. But I think about with all these bands from my childhood, my teenage years on their 20, 30th anniversary tour, thinking about, is it much different than what it was like for my dad? Some of these bands that he listened to were not considered great until they were older. And I will never say that anybody is as great as the Beatles, but, it's the same kind of thing. Like, the Beatles releasing a song 40 years, later. We've got Blink-182 come out with a new album with their almost original lineup. And that resonates in a way that I didn't understand when I was 20, right? But now I do. And, I saw a band called Thrice. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Thrice, but they're an awesome band. Oddly, I didn't realize it when I started listening to them, but they're kind of a Christian hardcore band. Makes sense now looking back at the lyrics and everything, but at the time, it was just loud and awesome. And they released an album called Artist in the Ambulance that had its 20th anniversary. It came out when I started college, and we went and saw them. Unfucking believable. But tonight, I'm on my way to see STREETLIGHT Manifesto. And if any of you guys have ever heard of STREETLIGHT Manifesto, then you get it. But if you've never heard of STREETLIGHT Manifesto, I'll give you a little preempt into them. They are a late edition fallout of 90s third wave ska. So what's third wave ska? People can put a lot of definitions on it. My interpretation of third wave ska is it's that 5 or 6 year period in the 90s where ska music became incredibly popular and was used in everything. So it was theme songs to kids' TV shows. It was in video games. The Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were in the movie Clueless. It was everywhere. But for every Boss Tones, Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, who are much more similar to STREETLIGHT Manifesto than those others, you got different versions of it. You had the guys who dressed like they were in a big band. Like, you had bands like not the Voodoo Glow Skulls, the Squirrel Nut Zippers, bands like the Cherry Poppin' Daddies that were doing the swing big band thing. Then you had the people that kind of did the throwback to like the more reggae style ska, like Catch-22 and bands like that. But then you had this punk ska hybrid that Less Than Jake, Goldfinger, bands like that did, which was much more fast-paced melodic punk music, but also had horns. So you have this band Streetlight Manifesto, and this is their first album that we're celebrating tonight. It's called Everything Goes Numb, and they're playing the 20th anniversary show of this album in Boston. And the thing you got to know about Streetlight Manifesto is they come to Boston about once a year. They always come around Christmas time. You always see the same people at the shows. So even if you go by yourself, it's a community. It's amazing. They also play really small venues. And they also, you do not stop moving from the moment they start playing until the songs or the albums are over. They also aren't writing radio-friendly songs. These are not quick, hook-oriented songs. These are big, orchestrated, 5-6 minute long songs with meaning. My favorite song of them, Somewhere in the Between. So you were born and that was a good day. Someday you'll die and that's a shame. But somewhere in the between is a life for which we all dreamed, and nothing and no one will ever take that away. Because someday soon, my friends, this ride will come to an end. But you can't just get in line again. And the crowd sing these songs together, and I just find this band so liberating. It like erases bullshit. It's all about just rising up and overcoming shit. And you get the gang lyrics. They put their horn section right up front, so you get hit with this assault of orchestrated noise that's so much different than any other live show. I've met people at concerts for this band saying that they don't even like punk, ska, that kind of music, but they come because the crowd is more intense, and not in a dangerous way, more intense in a feeling kind of way than any metal show, any hardcore show they could ever go to. They just like the community of it all. And I really, really believe that. I resonate highly with that. So if you've never heard of this band, look them up. They actually were a band called Catch-22, who I mentioned, and around the time this album came up, them and Catch-22 split up. Streetlight Manifesto actually re-recorded a Catch-22 album called Keys Be Nights that they had all written together, start to finish. Both versions of the album are awesome. Both versions of the album represent the different style that Catch-22 and Streetlight Manifesto ended up becoming. Another thing that you'll do if you read looking up on this band is that a few years back, I think around 2015 or 2016, they were in a huge legal battle because they got completely screwed by their record label. They were going to lose everything. They were going to stop being a band. So these shows now celebrate them winning. They haven't had really new music since then. It's all been about rebuilding. An album came out in 2017, big middle finger to that record label that they self-released, that they titled The Hands That Thieve, for that exact reason. If you're rebellious, fuck the system, punk rock oriented kind of person, this is the kind of band to follow because they've done it all. They really are living that indie DIY, take your shit back, do it yourself kind of thing. So I'm gonna edit me talking here likely with some clips that I'm gonna take throughout the show tonight, just to give you an idea of what it's like at 39 years old, going to see a band on their 20th anniversary play, in my opinion, one of the most unique forms of punk ska. Just the live experience is unbelievable. So if you like it at all, look them up. Go see them when they come around. It's inexpensive. They're great. And if you get a chance to see them as Botar, which is the Bandits of the Acoustic Revolution. It's a version of their band where they come with a 15 to 20 piece orchestra and play these same songs. It's just really freaking cool. Or if you get to see the lead singer, who goes by Tokay, when he plays on his own, he plays all these songs acoustic, and they sound kind of more like punk rock, little punk rock lullabies. And again, I just highly recommend it. I'm really jazzed to get out and go check these guys out. I'm psyched that my good friend Leslie and her daughter came over to hang out with my wife and kids, so I'm able to go enjoy this without thinking I'm putting them out and kind of just casting them off and leaving them at home alone. So next time you see me, I'll be in the venue and I'll likely be dancing. So talk to you in a minute. Rock on.